So there's been a lot of dialogue around race relations lately, specifically around Black Lives Matter. And I wanted to give you some insight into the power of your words in this dialogue, and then also offer some insight into how your words might be received. You should be able to express your opinion, but if you want to offer others support in this difficult time, then here are some ideas around 3 statements that you will hear regularly. You've heard the phrase Black Lives Matter, and maybe you feel this way or you've heard this response, all lives matter. It feels like a really good statement that everyone's lives should matter, and it may feel really uncomfortable to experience the resistance to that. If someone doesn't want you to say all lives matter, they want you to feel, experience, and say that Black lives matter. Why is that? Well, one of the reasons is because even though, of course, all human beings matter, every single one, no matter where they come from, it is also true that in our country, that Black people have not been treated fairly. It's happened in many different situations, whether we talk about slavery or we talk about the civil rights movement or a lot of things that are coming to the surface right now. But someone is saying they want the spotlight on them. They want you to see the injustices, the difficulty, the fear that is experienced in that community, and your response is to redirect the focus from that issue into something else. It feels like you're not supporting that cause. All lives matter is a goal. We want to feel like all lives matter. But if someone doesn't feel like they matter, then focus in on what is making them feel that way. And in support, let's do things to make sure that fairness and justice become commonplace for that group. Another statement that I've heard is, in response to the protests, specifically around the rioting and the looting, someone will say, I just don't get it. Do they understand that this doesn't help? First thing, when you say you don't understand, you are saying that you are different than that person. So let's tackle this right away. If you see a human being doing something, then you are capable of that thing. You may not feel like it's flowing out of you at that moment because you have your needs taken care of. But in the right situation, every single person is capable of every great thing and every horrible thing that you see around you. We are no different. Now let's tackle the second thing. This one is really tough because I totally agree with you. I think it's sad when you see businesses around these neighborhoods looted. I think it's heartbreaking to watch people who are living in that level of frustration. I feel like it's scary to watch people riot and loot and go against each other. But when you say that you don't understand why they're acting that way, because maybe you think it's in response to one incident or maybe 2 incidents, I want you to know that if you do the research, you will find that there are lots of instances that make people feel like they are degraded, like they are devalued, and most importantly, not heard. When you put fearing for your life with not feeling like you have a voice, like feeling like you don't really even have the understanding or the skills to exact change, these things are going to happen. It means that rioting and looting don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of investments to create a situation in which someone feels like they have no choice. So if you want to be an ally, really look for the small moments. Pay attention to the small moments and be very careful to always choose life over everything else. The third statement I think we hear is about bad apples. So everyone is not like that, but there are a few that are like that. When you talk about police officers, or you talk about individuals that are in the minority, and you start saying, well, it's not everybody, it's just a few people, what you might be ignoring is the systematic issues that created this problem. It really is like postponing seeing what the problem is so that you can solve it. It makes us feel better about what's going on. Bad apples can't exist if the system doesn't allow it. These things that I'm talking about are tough. And there are no easy answers. And the further you dig, the more you realize how complicated it is and how little you know. So let's just sit with this. When you're faced with a situation where you feel threatened, where you feel like your way of life is sort of being torn apart and you feel uncomfortable and confused, don't go for the easy answer. Don't push people away. Don't start categorizing people as different than you. Really sit with the problem and listen and research and ask questions, because your voice really does matter. And if you are part of the solution, you will make a difference.